United Kingdom 1971 New Pence 10 pence coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II marks one of the most significant turning points in British numismatic history, because it was part of the Great Decimalisation changeover that replaced the centuries-old pounds, shillings, pence system with the simpler 100 pence pound on February 15, 1971, known as Decimal Day. This coin was deliberately designed to be familiar yet modern. It retained the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II by Arnold McKin R.A., showing her wearing the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, a calm and elegant right-facing bust surrounded by the legend Elizabeth II D.G. Reg. F.D. 1971, Latin for Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. The reverse design by Christopher Ironside displays a crowned heraldic lion passant guard ant, taken from the royal arms of England, symbolizing monarchy, continuity, and strength. Above the lion are the words New Pence, which appeared on all early decimal coins to help the public distinguish the new values from pre-decimal money. The denomination 10 is boldly placed beneath the lion. Struck in copper-nickel, 75% copper, 25% nickel, the coin was impressively large by modern standards at 28.5 millimeters diameter and 11.31 grams, making it similar in size to the old pre-decimal florin and intended to reassure users during the transition period. It has a milled, reeded edge, both as a security measure and as a traditional stylistic feature of higher value coins. These coins were minted in very large numbers for circulation at the Royal Mint, which had recently moved from London to Llantrisant in Wales. So while the coin is common in circulated condition, it holds historical importance far beyond its face value. It represents the early years of decimal Britain, when shops displayed conversion tables, banks issued educational leaflets, and the country gradually adapted to the new money. The inscription New Pence remained on the 10p coin until 1982, when it was replaced with 10 pence, and in 1992 the coin was dramatically reduced in size, making the original 1971 version a relic of a bygone era. Collectors value the 1971 issue not for rarity but for its historical context, attractive heraldic design, and association with Queen Elizabeth II's long reign. In circulated condition, it is typically worth only a modest premium over face value, but uncirculated or proof examples, especially those preserved in original mint sets, are more desirable. Beyond market value, however, the coin tells a much broader story about post-war modernization, national identity, royal symbolism, and the careful balance between tradition and reform that characterized Britain in the late 20th century. Many people today still remember the New Pence coins with nostalgia, as everyday pocket change from childhood, first jobs, and family life, making the 1971 10 pence piece not just a coin, but a small round piece of living history linking the monarchy, the Royal Mint, and the people who used it daily across the United Kingdom next top 2. The 1980 United Kingdom 5 pence coin bearing the legend New Pence and the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II belongs to the closing chapter of Britain's transition-era decimal coinage, making it an object rich in historical, cultural, and design significance. Introduced in 1968 ahead of Decimal Day in 1971, the 5 pence piece replaced the old shilling, and for many years both coins circulated together at equal value, so people could still use familiar 1 bob coins while adjusting to the new money. By 1980, decimalisation had long settled into everyday life, but the inscription New Pence remained, a reminder of the system's reformist beginnings. The obverse features the graceful Arnold McKin portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, introduced in 1968 and admired for its youthful dignity. The Queen faces right, wearing the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, while the surrounding Latin legend reads Elizabeth II D.G. Reg. F.D. 1980, Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. Both a statement of constitutional monarchy and continuity from centuries of British coinage. On the reverse is Christopher Ironside's heraldic design, a crowned Scottish thistle, the national flower of Scotland, symbolizing resilience, unity within the United Kingdom, and the coin's place in the decimal series in which each denomination featured a different heraldic element. The thistle is surmounted by a royal crown, and the words New Pence arc above it, with the denomination 5 placed below, simple, clear, and modern for its time. Struck at the Royal Mint's Llantrisant facility in Wales, the coin is made of copper-nickel, 75% copper, 25% nickel, giving it a hard-wearing silvery appearance. It weighs 5.65 grams, measures 23.59 millimeters in diameter, and has a milled, reeded edge, reflecting the traditional security features of higher-value coins. By 1980, the coin was already widely familiar in pockets, purses, shops, and banks across the UK, used daily for bus fares, newspapers, school snacks, and household shopping, quietly participating in ordinary life while symbolizing national identity and royal authority. Although millions were minted, making the 1980 issue common in circulation, its importance lies in its place within a story. It was among the last years that used the words new pence, which were officially replaced with 5 pence, starting in 1982 to reflect the now established decimal system. Even later, in 1990, the 5 pence coin was reduced in size, meaning that the large format 1980 piece represents a first-generation decimal coin now long vanished from modern change. Collectors appreciate it for this sense of transition, the elegant heraldry, and the connection to Queen Elizabeth II's long reign rather than for rarity or monetary value. Circulated examples usually command only modest premiums, while pristine uncirculated or proof strikes are more desirable. Beyond numismatic details, the coin reflects broader themes in late 20th century Britain. Modernization balanced with tradition, economic reform wrapped in royal symbolism, and the quiet endurance of national motifs like the thistle. For many people who lived through the era, the 1980 new pence 5 coin carries nostalgia. Memories of childhood savings jars, pocket money treats, and the feel of cool metal in the palm, reminding us that even the smallest denominations can become powerful historical witnesses. Next top 3. The 1997 United Kingdom 50 pence coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II occupies a special and rather historic place in modern British coinage because it marks the very first year of the reduced size 50p, replacing the large, heavier version that had circulated since decimalization in 1969. This change was made after nearly 3 decades of public use, during which people increasingly found the original coin too big and inconvenient. The 1997 redesign kept the distinctive equilateral curved heptagon shape, 7 equal sides forming a curve of constant width so vending machines and coin mechanisms could still recognize it, yet reduced the size to a diameter of 27.3 millimeters and a weight of around 8.00 grams, with the same copper-nickel alloy, 75% copper, 25% nickel, giving a silvery, durable finish. On the obverse appears the elegant Raphael Maklauf portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, the third definitive coin portrait of her reign, depicting the Queen facing right and wearing the George IV state diadem, surrounded by the traditional Latin legend Elizabeth II D.G. Reg. F.A.D. 1997, Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith, symbolizing constitutional monarchy and continuity with centuries of royal coinage. The reverse preserves Christopher Ironside's iconic Britannia design, a powerful national emblem since Roman times. Britannia sits calmly beside a shield bearing the Union flag, holding a trident to represent maritime strength and accompanied by a lion at her side, with the words 50 pence placed clearly on the coin to identify the denomination. Although the coin's edge is plain, the unusual 7-sided outline makes it one of the most recognizable coins in the world. Struck at the Royal Mint's Llantrisson facility in Wales, the 1997 issue saw large-scale circulation as the country smoothly transitioned from the old, large 50p to the new, smaller, more convenient form. The earlier large coins were demonetized shortly afterward, meaning the 1997 small-size coin effectively became the new standard and remains the basis for today's 50 pence issues. Collectors note that this year also stands at the end of an era in portraiture, because the following year, 1998, introduced Ian Rank Broadley's more mature depiction of the Queen, making 1997 both the first of the new size 50p and the last to use the Maklauf portrait, a neat symbolic bridge between 2 phases of the reign. In everyday life at the time, this coin passed constantly through shops, buses, schools, and payphones, paying for snacks, newspapers, and countless small purchases, becoming a familiar companion in wallets and pockets across the United Kingdom. While common in circulation and therefore modest in market value unless preserved in uncirculated or proof condition, its true significance lies in design heritage and national identity. Britannia's calm strength, the Queen's dignified portrait, the technical ingenuity of the 7-sided planchet, and the story of a modern nation updating its money while carefully preserving tradition. For many people who remember the late 1990s, the 1997 50 pence still evokes a sense of everyday Britain, rain-shine pavements, high street shops, clinking change trays, and the reassuring familiarity of coins that quietly tell the story of a monarch, a mint, and a country in evolution. Next top 4. The 1999 United Kingdom 1-penny coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II represents the mature phase of Britain's decimal coinage, a small yet symbolically rich object that quietly links monarchy, national identity, and everyday life at the end of the 20th century. The obverse bears the 4th definitive portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, created by Ian Rank Broadley FRBS and introduced in 1998. Unlike the softer, idealized portraits of earlier decades, Rank Broadley's design presents a more realistic and dignified likeness of an older monarch, facing right and wearing the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. Around the portrait appears the traditional Latin legend Elizabeth II, D.E.G. Reg. F.D. 1999, meaning Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith, a formula connecting the coin directly to centuries of constitutional and religious heritage. The reverse features Christopher Ironside's decimal design, used since 1971, a stylized image of the portcullis with chains, surmounted by a royal crown. Originally a badge of the Palace of Westminster and long associated with Parliament and state authority, the crowned portcullis evokes themes of governance, history, and stability within the United Kingdom. Above the design is the inscription 1 penny, with the numeral 1 below, simple, readable, and consistent with the clear typographic style favored for decimal coinage. Struck in huge quantities at the Royal Mint in Llantrisant, Wales, the 1999 penny was made from copper-plated steel, not bronze. This composition change, introduced in 1992, gave the coin its characteristic reddish-brown tone while reducing production costs. As a result, a magnet will attract the coin, an interesting physical clue to its steel core. It weighs 3.56 grams, measures 20.3 millimeters in diameter, and has a plain edge, making it the smallest bronze-colored circulating coin of the UK at the time. Though humble in denomination, it served millions of tiny yet important roles in daily British life, stacked in charity tins, jangling in pockets, counted out for bus fares, school lunches, car parks, corner shop suites, and supermarket change trays. In 1999, the country was looking ahead to the new millennium, and yet coins like this quietly preserved traditions stretching back through Elizabeth II's long reign and far beyond to the Tudor and medieval eras when monarchs first stamped their authority on currency. For collectors, the 1999 penny is common rather than rare, its value in circulated condition typically equal to face value. Pristine uncirculated examples or those from Royal Mint sets are more desirable but still accessible. Its deeper interest lies in its historical context, a late 20th century token of continuity, bearing the portrait of a monarch who had already become one of the longest-serving in British history, paired with imagery of Parliament and royal authority during a time of global change. The coin's everyday familiarity, modest purpose, and quiet symbolism make it an evocative reminder that even the smallest denomination can be a miniature historical document, linking the Royal Mint, the monarchy, the people who used it, and the evolving story of the United Kingdom at the dawn of a new century. Top 5. The 2008 United Kingdom 20 pence coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II is one of the most significant modern British circulation coins because it sits at the crossroads of tradition and change. It was the first year that the familiar heraldic royal shield reverse design by Matthew Dent replaced the older crowned Tudor rose that had symbolized the 20 pence denomination since its introduction in 1982. The 20p itself is shaped as a distinctive equilateral curved heptagon, 7 smoothly rounded sides of constant width, allowing it to run through vending machines like a round coin while remaining instantly recognizable by touch. Struck at the Royal Mint in Llantrisant, Wales, the 2008 coin is made of copper-nickel, 84% copper, 16% nickel, weighs 5.00 grams, measures 21.4 millimeters in diameter, and has a plain edge. On the obverse appears the fourth definitive portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, sculpted by Ian Rank Broadley FRBS, introduced in 1998 and intended to show a realistic, dignified monarch in middle age. The Queen faces right, wearing the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, surrounded by the legend Elizabeth II, D.R.G. Reg. F.D. 2008, meaning Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. The reverse is part of Dent's innovative redesign linking all circulating UK coins together. When arranged correctly, the reverses form a complete royal arms shield, and the 20p carries the upper right segment of that shield, a bold and modern break from the previous heraldic single symbol approach. The inscription 20 pence and the date normally appear within the design, but 2008 is especially famous because a small number of coins were accidentally struck using the new reverse paired with the previous obverse without a date, producing the now legendary, undated 20p mint error, the first undated British circulating coin since the 17th century. Highly prized by collectors and worth far more than face value when genuine. Ordinary 2008 dated coins, however, were issued in large quantities and are common in circulation, valued mainly for their historical and design interest rather than rarity. In everyday life in 2008, this coin jingled through British pockets and tills during a time of economic uncertainty and social change, quietly linking modern design thinking with centuries-old royal and national symbolism. The curved heptagon, the realistic portrait of Elizabeth II, and the fragment of the royal arms together tell a layered story, of a monarchy adapting to the contemporary world, of the Royal Mint embracing innovative design while preserving heraldry, and of a nation expressing identity through the smallest familiar objects of daily use. Though humble in denomination, the 2008 20 pence stands as a miniature artifact of design reform, technical precision, and constitutional continuity under one of Britain's longest-reigning monarchs, an object that proves once again how even the smallest coins can carry remarkably rich layers of history and meaning.